of Nothing Else Matters. And today my beautiful guest is my mum.
Oh.
Mum, Mum, this is everyone. Everyone, this is Mum.
Thank you.
So, well, Mum's name is Diane. So, Di, or Di for short. I'll just remind Mum that as we're talking, we've actually going to be having people on the other side of the camera. So while we're talking, let's try and include them as much as we can.
Yes.
Because at some point they're going to be there listening to us.
Yes.
So you might have some advice. You might not want to give it to me. You might turn to them and go, blah, this is what I want to say to you.
Yeah.
Because we got people with us. And space and time doesn't really exist. So we're going to kind of imagine and know that there's people there now. So we'll just start talking. Like, maybe I could sort of just say, ask you a bit about what matters to you in life.
Well, I mean, there's always different things. I mean, it's so easy to think, oh, I like doing this or I like doing that. But sometimes you want to change your mind. It isn't always exactly what you wanted. But then again, once you get talking and you start thinking, then you do come better with what you hear or what you can say.
Yeah, you just got to start talking.
Yes.
Like, open your mouth.
Yes.
And let it flow.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing with this series of episodes with people. Is it's not like an interview. It's just we're just talking and we're just going to bounce off each other and see where it goes.
That's good.
I know I have got a few things that I did want to ask you about. There's stories that you've told me a few times over the years.
Yeah.
Because this show is Nothing Else Matters, so I want to talk about metaphysical things, paranormal phenomena, things kind of beyond the realm of the everyday. I remember years ago, you told me about years ago when you were in London in your flat with, was it Pat, Auntie Pat, about that experience you had with the ghostly figure in the door, and then that out-of-body experience you had.
That's right. That was in South Kensington, and Pat and I went into this place in Chelsea. Well, Chelsea is the next one, and we had friends who used to come and visit and that. And one day, somebody wanted to do the Ouija board. You know what that is?
Yeah, I do know what do you know what a Ouija board is? So you did the Ouija board.
So we did that, and it seemed to work well, and we had people coming up and sort of saying who they were and whatever, just out of the what you see, what you can tell.
Like the letters and stuff, so spelling out names and...
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they all went home. It was a bit later, and Pat had gone to bed, and I went to bed. But then I heard this tap 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 tap, coming up. Somebody was coming up quickly to our flat, and then it went quiet, and then gradually there was this figure coming towards me, male figure, and he looked a little bit like. Sort of creepy. So I just shut my eyes and I said the Lord's Prayer, because I thought I couldn't think of anything else. And it frightened the life out of me. But it also, then it started getting out of the bed, only my body, not my whole body, but then going around the room itself, and sort of I thought, I'm going under this table, I'm going over this.
So this was your spirit coming out of your body, jolted out probably by the kind of feeling of fear maybe, or just...
Because it was like a bit of a nightmare. Then I thought, no, I need to go back where I was in the bed, which was opposite from Pat, and I just looked at her in bed, and she was sort of tossing and turning a bit. And I said, I just seen a ghost, Pat. And
this is
said,
once you're back in your body.
Once I'm back in my body.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I thought things that I could sort of said something, and so after that I thought I won't not going to do that anymore.
Won't do the Ouija board
in case it starts to. Yeah, because I was only about 18 then or something.
Wow. So when you went out of your body, so you weren't necessarily, you hear about people kind of looking above and down at themselves, but you were kind of going under and
we were going
around
under
things.
and round and underneath tables and over other things.
Wow.
And did a couple of laps of the room.
And you saw yourself in bed?
Yes, I saw myself in bed, but with my eyes shut and looking like I was asleep.
Wow. Well, you were.
I was. Yes.
Wake up, me. Wake up.
Wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. And after, did you have any other experiences like that?
I can remember when I was much younger, maybe even preschool, that in the house we lived in, my room was sort of showing, you could see on the back of the house, on the higher room.
On the second story.
Yeah. And I was in bed, and then I thought I saw this lady in white sort of coming through the door. And that was something that I was excited about. Mum, I've just seen a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no fear in that
But
one,
no,
like
not
the
then,
other one.
because it wasn't coming up to me, sort of looking awful.
How could you, the other one? Describe more what he looked like. It was a he, wasn't it?
Yes.
Could you tell? Was it the same era? Like, could you sort of look at the clothes and go, "That's my era"? Was it otherworldly?
I think it was the same thing. The same person as he was, but he had a white shirt and black trousers. And I just didn't want him to come near me.
Yeah.
So when I opened my eyes again, that's when I straight away got up and said, "Pat, I've seen a ghost." Because I wanted to share it.
Yeah, we dived in the deep end, didn't we?
We did, didn't we?
But that, I remember, being so intrigued when you told me that story of like, wow, that's so interesting. And I remember you also, Nana telling me, and you telling me too, a story about when Nana was younger in England, and there used to be an old lady down the road who was like a fortune teller.
Yeah.
And she told Nana that she was going to have a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? And and then that her daughter would meet a tall, dark, handsome man.
Yeah.
with a scar on his forehead.
Yeah.
My dad's just over there. I'm talking about him. He's the tall, dark, handsome man. And so I remember Nana telling me, and I think you might have told me too, maybe.
Probably.
And then that they would move a long way away, like travel a long way away, and they would have 4 children.
Yes.
And, you will follow them by, whatever on the ocean. And that's what happened, wasn't it?
It was. I can remember, I had a friend at school called Anne Tonkin, and we used to chat about things, and I said, what are you going to do when you grow up? Oh, I'm going to have 4 children, So I sort of...
oh, you just knew?
Yes, I just knew. So I'd like that, maybe twins even. But it didn't work out to be that.
Not the twins, but you had the 4 children.
I had the 4 children, sort of one after the other, more or less.
Yeah. And girl, boy.
Yes.
That's quite a lovely way to do it, Mum. Very orderly. Yeah. And around about 3 years in between us all, isn't there? Except Dan and Sam.
So about 2.5 to maybe 3 for Matt. Yeah.
That's quite orderly. Yeah. You should be proud.
Yes. Because we had a nice family, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We had a good childhood.
Yeah.
We we did lots of stuff. We did lots of walks. It's funny, I was talking with Marina, and she had the same experience where, you would have the Sunday walks and the picnic with the lure of the ice block
Yes.
or ice cream at the end.
That's right.
To
Yeah,
sweeten the deal.
Look what I am going to give you. Oh, an ice cream.
I know.
But you've got to come and have a walk.
You've got to walk for 10 miles first. I remember actually when we would walk, do the Hyson Trail.
Yes.
And then the next week start at the sort of
Start
end point.
Start where you finished and then carry on the next bit.
And then you would do a drink container, like a big, the bigger drink container, and put cordial in it.
Ooh.
Which was so special because we mainly had water.
Yes. There you go.
And that was like a treat in itself. So you could have gotten away with no ice block and just having the cordial.
Yeah.
Because it was like a treaty.
Yeah.
And I remember actually one day at school, I must have been in I think year 3 or something, because I think I was still at the old school, before they moved it. And my friend Karina asked me if she forgot her water bottle, and she asked if she could have some of mine. Yeah. And I said, sure, I'll have some. And then she said, oh, it's cordial. And I went, oh, give that back. Because there must have been leftover cordial from the walking flask. Yes. And you must have just said, oh, give it to the kids. But we never got that. And I was like, oh, give it back. Cause it's funny, isn't it?
Well, it's good for you, isn't it? A bit of water rather than the sweet stuff.
It is.
But if you think in hindsight, that you get used to it if you had it all the time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? And then you end up sort of getting fatter.
Too much sugar.
Too much sugar.
And also, I remember our main treat was every Friday night.
Yes.
A block of chocolate. You would quarter it, so we got 2 rows each.
Yes.
For 4 of us, and that was and we'd we'd have our video night.
Yeah.
Back when there were videos, we'd go to the video shop.
Yeah.
Get 2 videos, one as an overnight, another one as a cheaper version, like a weekly.
Yeah.
Or something, or maybe sometimes 2 overnights or something. And then we'd sit there waiting to start the movie.
Yeah, because you had this chocolate or the little sort of other things.
Well, you and Dad used to have the bowl of nuts and like the fruit squares and stuff, I remember. Yeah. And you said we could have that, and I think a couple of times I did, but mainly I didn't want to miss out on the chocolate.
Yeah.
And I remember sometimes, I would break mine up and kind of wait through the previews. And I remember, I think it was either Dan or Matt used to lick all theirs just in case one of us other kids wanted to try and steal some. So they were just making sure no one wanted it. Yeah. Might have been Matt, might have been Dan.
Could be neither of them.
Yeah. But that's interesting. What memories do you have from childhood that stick out?
I think a lot of it happened when I was at primary school, and my mum and dad had rented out their top rooms.
Because they had a 2-story thing, and you were downstairs?
Yeah, it was downstairs and the middle bit and then the top bit.
Oh, you had 3-story?
Yeah, but there were only one thing on each one, except for the kitchen and that sort of thing.
Mm.
But apparently, was it Hazel and I can't remember the husband's name, and they had a cat, Fluffy, and then she got pregnant, and then she didn't want the cat. So my mum knew what I thought of animals, that I loved them and that. And so she said, well, yeah, you can have him, that's all right. And so after that, Fluffy was ours.
Wow.
Yeah. Lovely, sort of very friendly cat.
Yeah.
And he used to sort of almost come and visit me when I was in my bedroom playing with my dolls, and he'd come and sort of sit on my bed and that.
Nice.
And that was nice.
Yeah, and didn't that go a bit pear-shaped with it? Didn't something go wrong with them staying upstairs?
Yes. They claimed that it was their house and that we were the ones that...
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It was. I mean, I was still sort of, well, didn't know what was going on, but then my mum and I was sent, we went to Auntie Doris's house in Portsmouth and Uncle Jack's, and so we were living there for a while Dad was going to the court to tell what happened with the house.
Because your Nana and Granddad, your mum and Dad would have had like a deed or something, wouldn't they?
They did. They didn't have anything. They just said, it's our house now. We've lived here for so long, but they didn't have anything to
prove it. But you did, like Nana
my dad, mum and dad,
especially
my dad. He's a bit of sort of a real, I'm going to get these two type of thing, rather than because it was upsetting my mum.
Yeah, it would be.
Because she was frightened every time that she came out of the kitchen that Hazel, or I don't see much of the husband, that they come and sort of talk to her and harass her a bit. But they did when I was having birthday. Hazel came in and said, "Diane, what would you like? Would you like a book or would you like a spider, wind-up spider?" "Oh, I'll have a spider, thanks." Not thinking, oh, this will be fun. But it didn't last long, because they don't last long, those sort of toys.
No.
Yeah.
Wind-up spider.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it was...
okay, yeah. But eventually then, so you and Nana were staying with Auntie Doris, but then eventually Grandpa sorted it out.
That's right, yes.
And you came back.
Yeah. I know the first time we went to my grandma's in Sutton, and they had a big house and a big, where they used to have servants in, and so on, but it was now used just as an ordinary sort of big house, extra rooms. And when I went to stay there, they let me sort of ride on this 3-wheeled bicycle, which was a big one, supposed to be big enough for a kid as well as people, mums and dads and that.
As big people do.
And there was even a tent put out in the garden. Like my Uncle Dick would put a tent out there, and so that I could play in the tent and play, going to war and stuff, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was a large garden, and I used to ride my bike all the way around as well. So keep me occupied.
Because you were born, was it 1944?
1943.
43. So you were born during the war, weren't you? And wasn't Nana taken out to like a mansion or something in the
that's right.
country?
In Woking, which was in Surrey. And it was apparently, the house belonged to a millionaire, and he helped us sort of look after the women that we were expecting and make them feel welcome. And that's where I was born, at this place. But of course I wasn't aware of seeing it.
No, you were just being born. Peek. Hello, new world. What's going on here? Oh, I want to go back.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, she was started to have the child, but it wouldn't go because she's only little, and she didn't have a what's it called?
A cesarean.
But it was too late for that. So she was just lots of stuff to keep her sort of okay.
Were you a big baby, or were you small enough that she was?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think I should have something about it somewhere. So,
but you were born safely, and Nana was okay.
Yeah, but apparently I had a few scars on my face because it was forceps.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So,
but they healed.
But they healed. It didn't take too long to heal. So that was okay. And after that, strong as an ox.
Yeah, I know. I mean, because how old are you now, Mum?
See, 80.
You could be past at 60.
Yeah.
My parents, like, seriously, nobody, whenever people find out their age, they're like, no way.
Yeah.
Because mum and dad both walk every day. Like,
Yeah.
everybody knows you walk, like, into
Yes.
Victor all the
Yes.
time. I always have people go, oh, I've seen your mum and dad again.
Yes, they know us by name now, don't they?
Yeah. But, you know, you're so fit and healthy. Like, oh my goodness.
We have our moments. And we,
Yeah, well, we all do, don't we, at any age, but really for 80, I think you look fabulous. You're very fit, like what? And you're what, size 8 or something? Too?
I think it's gone down to size 8. It started as a medium, then it started as a small, then it was XS,
Oh wow!
and now XXS.
Because you were not that long ago going to the gym every day, like pre-COVID,
Yes.
really. Wouldn't you say
Yes.
you were going to McCracken?
Yes.
Yeah.
McCracken,
every
when
morning.
I used to go to the swimming pool there.
Yeah.
But then when I went to when the on Ocean Street, they had the this is the Ocean Road, isn't it? There for the one, for the.
Oh, which one is it? Not the Spa Club's not the one near you. Is it
No.
the one
It's
across
the one
from Harbour
across-
Traders?
No, it's
Was
the
it?
one in the sort of edge of Port Elliot.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to.
Just trying to think.
The new swimming centre.
Oh, the swimming centre, the
The
aquatic
swimming
centre.
centre.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is Ocean Road, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Thank you. Because I just forgot about that gym because I never really, I forget it's
Yeah.
not on my radar.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I loved going there, and I was getting a lot fitter, and muscles coming up, and I haven't lost all of them yet.
Yeah.
And sort of, I had people coming and asking me, for some advice and things like that.
Oh, wow. Lovely.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're doing something
Yeah.
good, really,
And then
isn't
I
it?
thought, oh, somebody's got some sort of skipping rope. I'll have a go at that.
Oh, wow. Super Mum!
Yeah.
Super Grand! Super Mum!
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, so I was disappointed to sort of not keep it up. But then again, it would have been on and off, and on and off, and so on, with the
Yeah.
COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no, and then you feel like you're wasting your money because you
Yeah.
paid fees and you can't
Yes.
go. I guess a lot of
Yeah.
gyms suffered through that.
Yes,
Really?
but I think they started off again, because the last time we went past, there was a lot of cars in the car park.
Yeah, things
But,
are kind of back to normal, I guess.
Yeah, but then as soon as you do something like that, there's something else will happen.
Well, let's knock on wood and go, only good stuff from now on. Thank you, universe.
I'll have a little drink of water.
Yeah, and don't forget your cup of tea
I'll have some.
as well. We're having a cup of tea with our talk today.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you catch up and chat, isn't it?
Yes.
Just have a lovely
Yes.
cup of tea. Dandelion and roast
Hello.
dandelion and chicory.
Hi, Sian.
Hello, darling. And I wanted to go back in time again, like just talking about Nana and Granddad. So they were both, well, Granddad, were they both in the fire service during the war?
Yes, they were. But my mum, like your aunt,
Nana.
Nana, she stayed in the fire station to direct the
To like relay the rigs.
where all the things could go when there was a fire or something.
Yeah.
And apparently, I remember with preschool, my dad taking me to his fire station and introducing me to all the other firemen. And then I was up at the top, and then he slid me down the pole to get to the ground.
Oh, back when they had fire
Yeah, when they had
poles.
poles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
That would have been
Yeah.
fun. And did you get to sit in the fire truck?
Oh, I don't remember that bit. I don't think I did.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think I remember it was probably more, they were already out, a lot of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was like during that time? Like, was there a lot of chaos? And
Not that I was aware of, because I'm just too
You were
young
just
to just
little.
think of it. Yeah, I think my dad, this is my daddy, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And he's given me a flying angel when I was little.
Yeah, I remember Nana too telling a story, and she told me this. I dropped in, you know, when she was still at Windsor Gardens?
Yes.
And I think I was heading somewhere, and I went to see her before I headed off.
Yeah.
And she was telling me some stories about the war and how, you know, there was rations and everything,
That's right,
wasn't
yes.
there? And she had all these stamps to get things, and she'd saved up for like so long to get a pair of nylons, like stockings.
Yes.
And then one night there was it sentry bombs?
Oh, right.
Coming down. Those are like the light ones, aren't they, that come down to light up so the enemy can see what's down there. And she said everybody would have buckets of sand, and when the sentry bombs were coming down, everybody's job was to go and cover them with the bucket of sand.
Right, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, did you not hear this story?
No,
wow.
I don't think I did.
And then she was, this story has just stuck with me, obviously, because it's been a while since Nana told me. That was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I still remember, because she was so animated when she told me. And that one night as the bombs were coming down, one went in her neighbour's yard and they weren't there. Yeah. So she grabbed the bucket and she climbed over the fence, but she ripped her stockings that she spent months trying to, save for. And she was so angry, she just threw the bucket, was yelling up at the Germans, just going, I'll get you. And like Nana was very little, wasn't she?
She was, yes.
She was very diminutive, very demure, very little. And just this image of her, she was so angry. And when she was retelling it too, you could see she was reliving that. Yeah. Oh, I'll get you for this.
Yeah.
And then I think she might have covered the sentry bomb. But it was such an interesting story. Yeah. And, it obviously had stuck with her for some, 40 years to retell it to me. And then it stuck with me to retell it now to you. Because I thought you might remember that, but maybe.
But then I do remember that my Aunt Nana Tot, which was my mum's mum, came to stay to look after me when sort of my mum had to go to work and go to the fire station and all this sort of thing. And it was just I took it all in for okay, didn't have a clue what went on. But behind us there was a place where they had a large building which I think had either pupils or something, and the Germans tried to sort of land bombs.
Bomb it.
Yeah. So that was, still, if I'd have still been, probably about 5, coming up to 4 or 5.
About Kai's age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And what else would you kind of pluck out of your memory from back in that, when you were younger? Like, have you got things that really stand out? I know Granddad had like a chauffeur business, didn't he?
Yes, that was after he was, when I first saw him we called it the Doodlebug, and it was just a 3-wheeler car or whatever, with just a wheel in the front and 2 at the back. Yeah. And that's how he'd go to work to the tea place where he used to.
Is that a go-go mobile? Is it a go-go mobile?
I
3 wheels?
So. No. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's pretty cool though.
But then after when he left the tea place, then I think that's when he went into the chauffeur business, because he got a Daimler, and his partner got another Daimler, and they used to deliver people to the Palace, Buckingham Palace, when there was something going on. I think it was 1952 or 53, something like that. That's where the Queen had a coronation, and he took visitors, you know, into Buckingham Palace.
Oh wow!
Outside that.
Yeah.
Don't-
Wow.
Don't
Don't-
forget, before you leave the wall, Grandpa's piece of Houses of Parliament, or Big Ben. One of
Yes. Thank you, Father.
Yes, that's it.
So,
That's it.
and you still got them, don't you? So when
Yes.
Granddad was in the war and there was fires in London,
Yes.
you've got, what is it? A piece of...
Piece of Big Ben, because it came off, you know, the metal bits at the top.
Yeah.
And also there was some pieces which was sort of made in a sort of a shape which wasn't very big, but it was just, you could tell it was part of a big building.
And that was Parliament House, was it?
That was, I'm not sure, it could have been,
I think it was the Houses of Parliament.
it could have been the Houses of Parliament, yeah, because it was close to Big Ben and everything like that, so it could have got knocked off.
Wow.
Right.
That's a piece of history.
Yeah.
We've still got it up the shed.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to find it. If you find it, we'll have another little segment and we'll show everybody.
Yeah.
And Granddad too. It was interesting, one day we were just talking casually and I said something about the Freemasons. You went, oh, Granddad was a Freemason.
Yeah, he was.
And you even said, oh, he had one of those funny little apron things.
Yes, that's right. He still had it. I think we might have it somewhere up in the sort of in the.
Wow. Did you, when you were, that was when you were a kid?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but it was also he saved it because when they came to Australia, they came by sea, and he brought all these things that he wanted to keep, you know, and then so that he could show, you know, people that in Australia when he got there.
Yeah.
And they made friends on the boat, on the ship. But they went round. They couldn't go in the Suez Canal. Couldn't cut through there. They had to go all the way down Africa and round the Cape of whatever it was. And but there was apparently they not very many tables and chairs for breakfast. But my dad wanted his breakfast, even though it was sort of. Everybody else was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my mum, a lot of people were sick because of the stomach was getting upset with all
So
this.
it was a pretty rocky
It
ride.
was a pretty rocky one, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, but Granddad still kept his breakfast down.
Yes, he did. Because he wanted his breakfast. He's not going to. He's paid for this $10 for the trip. Yeah. Yeah. That was funny things, really.
Yeah, because you and Dad, though, you were, could we call you $10 poms?
Yes, yeah.
So
£10 pound.
£10
£10
poms.
TPP.
That's
So
right.
what was the incentive of the time?
Because they just wanted to have people, give them some money and let them sort of come on
To migrate
to
over.
migrate, and it's only going to cost you £10, and you can make a good life there. So they were happy about that because they could be near us. Because I think I'm not sure. There was Sam was going to be born, and so then.
Because that was when you were in Sydney,
In
wasn't it? And
Sydney,
you were
yes.
right on the harbour, weren't you?
Yes.
Next to the Premier's house, next to Kirribilli House we used to live.
Ooh, next to Kirribilli House. What was the name of the... wasn't there a name of the place you lived in? Did it have a...
Oh no, Blues Point Tower was
Blues
right
Point.
on the harbour. That was the very first skyscraper building.
Yeah.
But then we moved from Blues Point Tower, which
Blues
still
Point Tower.
You see it on all the pictures
Yeah.
of the harbour. You see Blues Point Tower. I've got it in my study.
Okay.
But also, then we moved from there across the harbour to Lavender Bay.
Lavender Bay. That sounds beautiful. Lavender Bay.
Yeah, just under the bridge,
Yeah.
and then on the same road as Kirribilli House.
Wow.
3 doors down.
Yeah. But then you had Sam when you were there, didn't you? But I imagine it would have been quite expensive.
Yeah.
Was it being
Well,
right
yeah.
there?
Yeah. When Mum was working in the bank and I was working at the airport.
Yeah.
But then we moved to Sutherland across
Kirrawee, yeah.
in the south.
Yeah. And that was sort of out with it. They didn't have any toilets that flushed, so the men used to come to grab the bins out.
Oh, you mean you had like just the drop bin toilet?
Yeah, so that when they'd emptied it, then they'd put you another one there. You know.
Oh, really? So was it like an outside toilet?
It was. It was in a little sort of just like a shed, but just nothing there. If you wanted a toilet paper, you'd have to take your own probably. And
so like a share toilet as well.
Yeah,
wow.
This is just outside. And but then while we were there, the owners who we were renting from, because they were in, I'm not sure where it was, but it was something to do with something to do with a stint on some island, I think, can't remember what it was. And then they wanted a toilet, put a proper toilet rather than a cab one in the house, so it was much nicer than going in. And there's no lights in the toilet at night time.
See what happened
so
if you needed to go at night time? Yeah. Oh my goodness!
So what we did, we said, well, let's have a big sort of tub that we can put a toilet seat on, and then we can empty it in the morning.
That's a good idea,
so
actually.
Yeah.
See, aren't we really lucky? Like, do we forget how lucky we are in this day and age? Like, most people have a flushing toilet in their house.
Yes.
We have a bathroom in our house.
Yeah.
And we have fridges. Oh my goodness! Just think, even like I think too. I remember you telling me, if we go back in time again, in the illusion of time. Before fridges, you would get ice delivered when you're at home with Nana and Granddad.
Yes.
And was it a downstairs area where you would keep
it was just before. It was coming down the stairs, and then there'd be an exit on the right, and on the left there would be the steps going down into the cellar, where the coalman would pour the coal down the coal hole, and people used to come to you know, here comes the bread man, and you go and get your loaf of bread, or you know, if you had anything else that you needed, you know, there was somebody that came to sell it to you.
Really? So you didn't have to go to a shop; people would bring it to you.
You could. I don't think it lasted for very long though.
Yeah.
Because then things were starting to get more common, and they used to be horse-drawn. And,
like a horse-drawn vendor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that, you know, we kind of forget how things have been, and even, you know, having a block of ice in a downstairs room with all your cold stuff, but you wouldn't be able to have like long-term like meat supplies or dairy, would you? Because
there's nowhere to put them. But my dad had a bright idea. Once the other people had gone, he made this like aluminium things on shelves, and they were cool because it was a shaded area anyway, and that kept a lot of things cooler because there was no fridge then, no fridges.
yeah.
And then across from it there was things in another cupboard, like which were sort of just ready to go. You just had to pick it out and and so.
Wow. So now I'm just forming something in my mind right now.
Yeah.
Bear with me. So you grew up in an age where there was no fridges, no vacuums, no washing machines, no television back then. Back in that time, there were radios though.
It was starting to get sort of used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did have radios. I'm just thinking, no computers,
No.
no phones. Did you have phones back then?
Oh, we had a phone, was it? Battersea 4491, I think it was. Something like that. Or did you just say, BAT?
Oh, did you have to... Hello, operator? Was there...
Yeah, that's right. I think it was operator. And then,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can imagine what it was like back then, because you've experienced that, to what we have now with having fridges, dishwashers, oh my goodness, computers, internet, TV, mobile phones, like ovens. I guess there was ovens, but were they coal or wood ovens?
The oven we had was it wasn't electric, it was the other one. Was it
wood
wasn't
oven?
wood.
No, coal. What other ones
Fire,
are there?
not fire. What do you call it?
Combustion sort of oven. I'm not sure what else there is.
It was just trying to think. It was
I'm just trying to think of what. Can you remember what the old ovens were like? If it wasn't a wood oven, not electric, what other sort of ovens would they have had back then?
What, for cooking?
Yeah.
Gas?
Gas ovens?
Yes, just the same coal gas. Yeah, there was coal gas in those days.
Yeah.
Not LPG, but most of us had gas cookers and even gas fires.
Yeah.
But as I say, you still use gas today.
Yeah, I know. That's
the only difference is it's LPG. In those days, it was coal gas. But it was also the thing about coal gas. It was poisonous, and many people committed suicide by putting their heads in the oven.
Yeah, I've heard
and
about that.
you'd hear someone, Fred put his head in the oven yesterday, and it used to be a kind of people when they got depressed say, I just feel like putting my head in the gas oven, because the gas, and many people died accidentally because they left the gas on overnight.
And it had no smell back then?
Well, it did have a smell, but not very detectable, but lots of people died accidentally because, for one reason or another, either they left it on overnight and the flame went out, but the gas kept churning over. And you'd hear every week someone died of being poisoned, accidentally poisoned, because someone had left the gas on without lighting it. Someone may come along to light it, and the doorbell rang, they'd leave the gas on and then go, and then they'd forget about it, and they'd come back and it would overcome. But a lot of people, after the war, there were a lot of people with depression and that, and many men coming back from the war committed suicide by... It was a standard way in those days for men to commit suicide.
I guess too easy, isn't
it?
Like
like
you just turn it on, put your head in there and go to sleep.
Nowadays, when you hear in Australia, lots of men, especially in the country, commit suicide like farmers because they've got guns. But for other people, you think of how they commit suicide, it's usually a belt round the neck and hanging. But in those days we're talking about, it was gas oven, and it was relatively accessible for everybody.
Wow, too accessible. And I just want to say, while we're talking about that, is, I know we all can have moments when we feel like we can't go on, and we look at circumstances in our lives and go, I can't get past this, whether it's something with somebody or losing a job or having no money. Always know, like, when you're in that moment, that this too will pass, this too shall pass, and that you will feel good again. And even though there might be accessible things like gas ovens, or you might go, I just want to take myself out, it will pass, and there's always people who love you and always reasons to live. So I just want to add that, because I know it happens. I know people can be very depressed, and just knowing how, like you're saying, if you're saying every week that used to happen back then, that's harsh. Like, all the pain and trauma for everyone around that person, but the pain that they must feel but there's always, you know, when we're in that feeling, it won't last forever. And then we can feel good, but then we can not feel good again. That's life, isn't it?
But then you just try not to overdo it and try to think, well, okay, I can do this, I can cope with this, and I'm not going to sort of give up. So
yeah, and just, I think, you know, we need to simplify life a little bit and maybe not be so hard on ourselves. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, how I think we've forgotten sometimes that we're human beings, and we end up getting caught up in being a human doing, and we've got to be productive. We've got to make sure we've got keeping up with the Joneses, we've got the cars, we've got the flashy house, but, you know, and then you're driven to work more because you've got so many bills. But when we simplify life, we don't need as much stuff, and, you know, and then there's not as much pressure, you know, just to be and breathe. And I guess you and Dad now, like in your, should we call it twilight years, I mean, you've got a pretty lovely life, don't you? You walk, you keep fit, you eat healthy, you go out in nature.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got, like, you had Shakespeare the other day?
Yes, that was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. All's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well. Nice.
Yeah.
But that, you know, would you say now in life, like, life is good because it's quite simple?
Yeah.
And you're not having to stay on that hamster wheel?
Yes, that's another thing, is that it's nice to find something or something to do that you enjoy. So if you enjoy Shakespeare, you know, go for it. If you enjoy other things, you know, whether it's making flower vases or making clothes, or whatever it is.
Painting, bushwalking. Yeah. Because we all need purpose, don't we?
We do, yeah. Otherwise we're just thinking, what am I going to do today?
I mean, and the worst thing we can do is just sit and watch the telly.
Yes.
We don't, I mean, yeah. I do remember going to see Nana in the nursing home.
Yeah.
And I felt so sad because so many people were just there sitting,
Yeah.
you know, like maybe facing a telly or facing a window, and it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, is that when people do really get old and start to that real decline?
Because they forget who they are sometimes, and then that's a shame, because it's good to keep them engaged in doing things and talking about things and sort of making them feel at home, and because they can't always look after themselves if they've got problems with their legs or something or whatever, and there might not be any other people to help who are part of the family, because they've got lots of people of their own that they haven't got the time to look after older people, you know, because they moved somewhere else, which is a shame. But it would be good to sort of give a bit of hope and love to people so that they can have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good, because they feel that, oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I can sort of have a chat. I can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
And I'm likeable. I'm loved.
Yes.
You know, that's really important, isn't it?
It is.
Did they, like, back in England when you were there, like, did they have nursing homes then, or was it still family looking after family?
Well, from my notice then it was usually a lot of their grandmas used to stay at home with looking after the house while they all went to work. And it wasn't something that you sort of paid them, because you looked after them when they came home from wherever they were doing, like being on the buses or something, or delivering posts or whatever it was. But you know, the working people couldn't afford to sort of pay for somebody to go in a nursing home. because then that's going to be the end of them eventually, because they're all going to be too busy to go and look after them.
Yeah.
So that's a pity.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. But it's like, I think maybe that system of the nursing home isn't good anyway, but as families,
Yeah.
or communities, we
Yes.
kind of pull together anyway,
Yeah.
and look after. Like, I'm not sending you guys to a nursing home. Like, when you get old, I'll be here,
Yeah.
to help you as you go. Like, keep you in your own home. I think that's probably
Yeah.
What's
like the most important
what's
thing.
our next anniversary? What are we coming up to?
Will it be 57?
57 years.
1967, 68, 69. Well, 50 was 1917, so it'll be 57 years.
Wow, my parents have been together almost 57 years, so not
Yeah.
far off
Oh,
60 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. How do you do it?
Yeah.
What's the
Tolerance.
secret?
And remember,
Tolerance.
Mum and I only met by chance. I got on the train, and she was going to the same. I just happened to get on the train.
Place. This is New Year's Eve.
Oh, now, Dad, you told me the story when we had our talk. Mum, you tell me from your perspective the story of you and Dad meeting.
Yeah, well, it was New Year's Eve, and I'd been invited to go to a friend's place for
A party.
A party, yeah. And we got on the train station, and there's Tom, your dad, and a couple of other fellows I knew of, because when we were working at Lecture House, people got to know each other, and so I sort of recognised a few faces, including Dad's, and they decided they were going to go and have a drink first. So they said, "Oh, will you come with us then? We're going to so and so's, first,
The party.
The party.
But, so were you by yourself, or were you?
At the time, I did.
Yes.
Yeah, and plus, I remember that Dad had a friend who was going to be going with you, but the fact was that he didn't feel at home because they were mostly black people, and they were friendly, but they would only really want to have people that understood them, and but they were always really good and friendly, and that was fine. And had a party and everything, and then Dad and I got to chatting and sort of talking about things, and
And you hit it off?
yeah, I think we did all right, but it was too late then to get a train, so I think we just sort of relaxed in the lounge room or wherever it was, and then we got on the train when the trains were running. Yeah.
Oh, so you ended up having an all-nighter.
Yeah, but nothing.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
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 But the thing about that is I'd seen Mum at work from a distance. I'd never spoken to her, and we just happened to be on the platform
Wow.
at the same time going to the same party, which was pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Had we not been there, because there were 2,000 people working in that building, I might have just carried on seeing her from a distance. But because I knew when I got to the station, I said, "Oh, there's that girl from..."
There's that girl I've been looking
then,
at.
But if we hadn't have been going to the same party, that would never have happened, and we would never have got married.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
you did,
yeah.
and then I wouldn't have been born.
I know.
Sam,
So I'm
that
so
wouldn't have
glad it
been
worked
born.
out that way.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
Yeah.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I suddenly, because after that day, I just remember seeing Dad sort of casually from.
I'm just going to come over there and
Yeah.
make myself known. I'm that disembodied voice.
This is my dad.
Hearing from over there, and not in the tall, dark stranger.
The tall, dark, handsome stranger.
Mentioned earlier.
And Dad and I have
beginning
already
to slowly shrink as I get older. Down, 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 down. Whoops,
Oopsie daisy.
And Dad and I have already had a talk, which you may have already watched. It was, what was that, episode 3 or 4?
I'm not sure.
I think it might have been episode 4 or 3. I must memorise my episodes in case I mention them. But now we're all together. And I think even in your episode, Mum ended up in, we were doing a little jig, weren't we?
We did a dance,
Really?
which we're not going to repeat.
We don't need to do that
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
I could even take some of that footage and put it in this one.
Yep. Yeah, just listening to Mum, it took me back in a couple of funny bits that I wanted to add something to, but I better not, because it would have become convoluted. But it's good to see Mum sitting down and looking so lovely. And,
I know it, always. Mum always looks lovely.
and you're pretty good at this, aren't you?
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I'm impressed. I'll let you finish. I just wanted to
Pop in.
make people aware that there was someone sitting.
It's a
over
real person. We're not talking to an imaginary friend over there.
there. sitting over there, chipping in now and again. Okay, darling, you're doing very well in
Yeah,
this.
no, we're doing very well.
this epoch-breaking interview.
Well, we've almost been going to for close to an hour. That's good. We'll
Yes.
just
Yeah.
chat some more. while
Okay,
we're there.
I'll leave you to it.
And so what else then? What else would you like to talk about in
Well,
life? Any reflections about things you've learned or things you go, you know, that was good for me, that was bad?
Yeah. I think that with my mum, her and her sisters were all very close to each other. And so when their mother came to stay, it was because her husband had died and she couldn't look after the house or anything like that because it was just rented. So they all took turns looking after her, and she was a brilliant cook. She really cooked really well, and she had some beautiful dishes. Like she was good at sort of lemon meringue pies, if you wanted any.
Yum.
Yum. And what was the other? Bread and butter pudding and things like that. And as well as actual dinners, because being a kid at the time, the lunches,
The dessert.
desserts. more than anything
Yeah,
else.
of course.
So, well, you can only eat your dinner first, and then you can have some.
That is like the carrot,
Yes.
dangling carrot, like the ice block at the end of the
Yes.
10-mile walk.
Yeah. But then there was also too that that we used to, so at school holidays, we'd go to, say, my Auntie Edie's, or we might go to my Auntie Doris's, or my Auntie Maggie's, so one or the other. And then as I got older, I was okay given time to myself to have a look down the Sandown sort of beach and stuff like that, and then walk back up after a little swim.
Because Nana was she one of 7 sisters?
No, there was 5 altogether. There was the eldest one, which I think was, I didn't see a lot about her, I can't remember now. And then there was my mum, whose name was Eva at the time, Doris, Edie, and Madge. Yeah, and the older one was looked after by her grandparents because they said, look, well, they might as well bring her up because you're going to have your hands full. This is to my grandma, Nana type. And so we look after the kids while you sort of go and I lost it now.
Is that right?
Yeah. You can
Go
always
away.
edit.
We can edit. We
Yeah.
can, there's always room for edits.
Yeah.
So, and then, because I guess back in earlier days too, so like you said, your grandmother taught, so her husband died, your granddad.
Yes.
And then, yeah, then it's like, how is she going to pay the rent? How is she going to...
Yes, but this is when in comes the family to say,
Yeah.
we'll look after you. Maybe just help make the dinners
Yeah,
and
help
stuff.
around the house, help
Yeah.
with the kids.
Apparently she had an offer to look after this one at the back of our house, which was quite a big area, and that I think there would have been a few sentries dropping down there, and so she just came and looked after the house while my mum or my dad had to go to the fire station. But then, yeah, that was just me being told later that this is what's happening.
And I was intrigued, like, too, so with Granddad being in the Freemasons, do you remember much of that when you were a kid? Like, what that entailed?
No, I didn't know anything about it. I think a lot of it, when he was in the ship coming to Australia, that he quite liked to enjoy the drink, and also, if there were some women around, even in front of my mum, he'd sort of chat them up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You wouldn't know that about him, would you?
No.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. And
In
I
front of Nana.
Yeah, but he did when he was chauffeuring, and he and a friend would go into the place where they've got the what do you call it? The place where they have when you go into a bath, so it's got a very like.
Did you say a bar or a bath?
Bars.
Bars, yeah.
Bars.
Like for a drink?
No, this is one where you bathe.
Oh, like the bar bathing rooms.
Bathing rooms,
Yeah.
where it's all very smoky and whatever, and they
Like
have
steam.
their steam, and they have a little chat together and have a laugh and stuff, and then they end up going home and hoping that my mum was hoping that he'd come home sober because he couldn't pick him up if he fell down. So, I mean, they didn't used to sort of look for people who were not driving, people who were driving erratically. They didn't want that. So, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Because they didn't have breathos back then. They used to just have what, the walk the line test.
Probably. Yeah.
And touch your nose.
Yeah.
Oh my
Probably.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if someone's really drunk, they don't pass that test anyway, and then it's
because
like, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
In whatever with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a very different life back in that time too between the female,
Yes.
the mother, and the male, the father.
Yes.
Like the way.
Yeah. One of the jobs my mum had was at the boys' college, just over within walking distance, but it was a big walk. And I used to, when I was at the school, I was near enough to walk up from the school up to the boys' college, and quite often I'd not bump into, but because they saw me, this little girl coming with her school sort of clothes on, then I'd go to meet my mum there because she was worked in the kitchens.
Yeah.
This is to help keep us going. And then when we were in Sutton, sorry. So that was a bus ride because they didn't want me to go through the paraphernalia of going to a different school.
Yeah.
When, at the moment she could just, I could just go on the bus and make it there. So that was okay.
Didn't you one time when you were little, did you walk away or you ended up on a bus? There was some...
You mean
like
like
you
I
were
got lost
missing.
in Wales?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I can
Tell
remember
us
that.
that story.
Because we've been on the beach a few times at there, and this is in Wales. I've forgotten it. Something Island. Yeah, something Island. I should remember, but it'll come to me.
It'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
We could even edit it in and write it
have a look.
underneath if we remember.
Wales. Where do you go find something Island? Yeah, Barry Island.
Barry Island.
Yes, Barry Island. And we'd go there, and we'd probably be on a coach trip to go to Barry Island. But when it was time to go, I was keen to have a go on the roundabout thing. And I kept looking at him like, can I go on? Oh, go on then. And he didn't realise that I was being waited for. But when I got off the sort of merry-go-round, I couldn't find him. And I looked. My banana top was there just now. Where's he gone? And I couldn't see her anywhere. So I thought, well, I'll start walking home. And I went to the main road where it was. But then there was this girl on the hill to come out of her house to play with her skipping rope. Oh, can I play? So I was there for a while and they were playing. And then I thought, oh, I better go. I've got to walk home. And I went down this road for about 5 miles. And 5 miles. And I went to I happened to see a playground with kids playing. So I thought, oh, I'll have a go there. So went and had a play, seesaws or whatever it was. And that was okay till a man came up and said, where's your mum? Oh, what are you doing? I said, oh, my mum's round the corner. She's staying there.
Oh, so you did a little fib.
Yes, I did, because I didn't want to be captured by a person I didn't know.
Okay. What are you drinking it?
That's for the glass of wine.
Okay, well you can have a couple of glasses for 20 bucks.
Yeah, but then after that, I can remember seeing across the road, I can picture them now, there must have been the style, but this couple of young women were chattering away there over the other side of the road. And one of them had a big streak of white hair, and the other was black, or very dark anyway. And I can't remember the other one, because that she was more normal.
Yeah.
And then it started to get a bit dark, so I thought I'd better hurry up. But I tripped over on a crooked sort of paver when I was going over this waterway, sort of over, and I fell over and I started crying. But the policeman thought somebody heard a dog sort of crying or whatever, but they realised it was actually a person.
A little
A
child.
little child.
A little girl.
It was because I was preschool then, I think.
Wow, so your mum and dad and Nana must have been just crazy, like out of their mind. Where is she?
Yeah.
Wow.
But actually, because Dad was still working, so it was just me and my mum with, I think it might be something like, I'm not sure, I'm thinking there's a G somewhere. But anyway, if my mum was here, I'd ask.
Nana.
Yeah, can you tell me
Bring us
what my eldest auntie is? Yeah. But she looked a lot like my mum. But because she'd been looked after by
Gladys?
Gladys. That's her.
That just popped in my head. Thank you, Nana.
Yes. That was my auntie Gladys.
Gladys.
And its funny thing was, when we went to stay there, I thought it was my Nana Tot, but it wasn't. It was her sister. But they looked very much alike.
Wow.
And then we all sat round the table and had some lunch or dinner or whatever it was. And then the dessert was jam tarts. I thought, I love that. And I had that, and I licked all the jam out, and I put it back further for some more in.
Because that's what kids do.
Yeah.
It's like Kai with the finger buns. He'll just lick the icing off the top.
Yeah.
And maybe eat some of the bun. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And at the same place, at the end of the garden, there's a big area with a place in the middle that was for sheltering people from the war. And I've been with them with my cousins, Michael and Tony, and they were kind of a bit older than me, and they sort of more or less introduced me to the kids there. But the next day I thought, oh, I'll go and have a look at that helmet that boy had. But he came in and he didn't like it at all, and I got punched. And he hit my nose, and it was bleeding.
Really?
Yeah. So I went straight back to the house, managed to get the right one, and my auntie said, oh, what have you done? What have you done? And my mum too, what have you done? And I said, I just went to see the boy with the tin hat, and he hit me with it. You know, so, and then the brothers, Tony and Michael, we'll sort it out. So I don't know what happened then.
We'll sort him out,
Yes.
love.
Yeah, because my young sort of cousin, or his cousin, that's yeah.
So they went and sorted out the
They
boy with the
sorted
tin
him out,
hat.
but they probably terrified them so much that they just bit themselves.
And then he never hit you again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm not going there again, because
No.
they might want to get revenge. Yeah. We'd been there a couple of times, I think, and it all worked out all right.
Yeah. It's interesting. But when, if we go back to when you went missing, and then so you tripped over, but was that right near the police station?
Yes.
Did you say?
Just as I was going over, there was a slight incline. There was pavers which weren't in good, place. There were sort of places where you could trip, because there's no lights really. Just there was this down the line, just a little bit past the river or whatever it was going over.
Was it getting dark?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
terrifying.
so the constable saw me and took me into the precinct thing,
Into the police station.
police station,
Yeah.
and got all the because I had all the information of where I was from and the phone number, but of course they were all in Battersea South West 11. So eventually they got in touch with my dad, and he came up and drove up to pick me up. But
Wow.
and I got the constable's sandwich because they hadn't had anything to eat.
Oh, wow.
But they were being very kind, and I gave them the information. I gave it with them. I gave them, the information that they would want, because it wasn't a stranger; it was a policeman. So that was
So you knew with a stranger
Yes,
not to. Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting? Because
Yeah.
how old were you?
about 4.
At 4, to know that almost instinctively, to go, this is going back in Mum's story when she found the playground and a man came up to her and said, "Where's your mum, love?
Yeah.
Are you with an adult?" And at 4 years old, she knew not to let on she was by herself. It's
Yes.
like, that's quite clever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you knew with the police officer to come forth and give all your information.
Because you could trust a police officer.
Yeah.
You can't trust a stranger sort of saying, "Oh, well, we'll take you out to our house." No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And
See, that's-
once he turned his back, I just took the road again. Yeah.
Did you head in the direction that you said your mum was?
No.
Wow. Wow. But that's quite scary thinking, because 4, you know, I mean, Kai's 4, just about to turn 5, but just that. Oh, yeah, you know, did I tell you how when I was at, this is a couple of weeks ago, and I took Kai early to school with Mia.
Yeah.
To pick up Mia, and he was on the playground, and I'm watching him. The whole time I've got my eyes, little eagle eyes on my son. And then Mia likes to surprise me by coming up and going like, boo. She does it all the time. And she did that when she came up behind me in the playground. So I turned for like 1, 2 seconds, turned back, and Kai was gone.
Wow.
2 seconds. And even Mia had seen him, though, at the top of the slide. And then I'm like, oh, where is he? He must be sitting at the other end of the slide. No, he was just gone.
Wow.
And I'm looking on the playground, imagining, oh, I'm going to see him over there or something. No. And then I'm looking on the other playground. I'm saying, Mia, go over there. Like, I didn't want to leave the area, so Mia went and looked at the swings as well. Yeah. And then I got to the point, I started going up to parents going, have you seen our little boy?
Yeah.
And I'm going up to mums and dads, and I'm looking, and then seeing teachers. I'm going up to teachers because he was there, then he was gone. But we were in a safe area. We were in the middle of the school, the end of school, with kids everywhere. But he'd just disappeared. Like, and I had my heart going like this, because I'm like going, oh no.
Maybe he's going to the toilet.
No, he doesn't even know where the toilet is. But then, and then so I had parents going off looking, you know, little blonde boy. And then, it was maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then a mother said, oh, we found him. So he was all the way over past the kiss and drop. You know where the kiss and drop is? You know, that bottom car park? Yeah. But in the bush area, because he was playing with another little boy who said, come with me. Come with me, Kai. And he went, okay. And he just went off. And then I had to have that big talk with him of never, ever, ever go off with anyone. But he went, you know, it's funny because he said, but Mum, it was a kid. And I said, doesn't matter whether it's a kid or an adult. Never ever go off without telling Mummy or Daddy. Always come up and say, oh, this kid or adult wants me to come with them. Can I do that? And I'd probably go, no, you can't. We're getting close to wrap up, Mother. My mother dearest.
Yeah.
What would you like to, in this, you know, and take your time, what would you like to say to people out there, you know, to maybe help them in life? What would be your little grain of advice or what you think, something that might have helped you in life, and you go, you know what, I want to pass this on to people. And look at, like, you talk to them. Back. I'll sit and listen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mum wants to talk to you all.
sit
this
back
is
and relax,
for you, from my mum.
Turn your body around to the camera.
Yeah, so just talk to the lovely people who are listening.
This way?
Yeah.
Well, really, I think there's a young lady that used to live next door to us who had a difficult thing with her partner, who tried to did actually take her children away, which was not really fair and also upsetting, and also it was a lot of violent things going on. And one day we'd met her, or we'd seen her in the park by the the little park, and she was really upset, and I just gave her a bit of a good sort of vibe there. I said, look, don't give up. You'll be okay. You'll have your kids, you know, your children back one day, and that'll make you feel a lot happier. But just don't give up. You know, think positive, and you'll be fine. And it so worked out that happened. That her partner, who was not very good, was arrested because of how he treated the children and her. So without sort of mentioning names, I think that she's done very well now. She's so happy, and so are the children. So I'm very pleased that it worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, and that is too, even in circumstances in our lives where we feel like this is the worst thing ever, which having your children taken is one of probably the most horrible things that could ever happen to anyone.
Yes.
And, you know, for the children too, to be taken from their mother.
Yes.
You know, that's a really hard one with mother-father stuff like that. But to always remind people that, yeah, it will pass. It's not going to be forever. And we do need to stay positive. Like, we can't fall into despair because
that just increases.
That just makes it worse. So, and falling into despair and worrying and stress has never ever made a situation better, has it?
Yeah.
It's like we have to, and I know we can't ignore our feelings. So if we have something come up in life, you know, we can acknowledge this is horrible. I don't want this. But then to kind of go, all right, what do I want? And go, I want, in that example, I want my children back. I want them to be safe. I want to reconnect with them and be happy. Because, I mean, we can end up in unhappy relationships and we have to make choices for ourselves, don't we?
Yes, we do.
To be happy. That's, you know, we are a sum of our life choices, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
And would you say that you've made some pretty good ones to get where you are?
I think so, because also when we've met her and her children, who are now sort of in their mid-teens presumably, that she's so happy, because she crept up on me and did a funny face and that, and frightened the life out of me at the time, because I was looking at stuff to get a big W, and she came and she was so happy, and so was her daughter and her son. They were all really happy now. They were, because they'd been abused. They weren't paid for working for them, and there was other things too.
Wow.
So I didn't want to go too far in that. So I think that it gave them a lift to think, okay, my dad can't do this to me anymore.
Yeah.
Because, and also as a partner, he shouldn't have been cruel to her, because then it's all his fault that she's not communicating. You know, it's because he's just thinks he's in charge. He's not going to be doing anything that she would like. Because now she feels a lot better.
Yeah.
And her kids like it better too.
Yeah, because it is a shame in life, isn't it, where people, and I do believe, you know, when people need to have control and power, it comes through fear.
It does.
Like really, they're afraid, and you know, so it manifests in ways where they're trying to control their whole environment.
Yeah.
And this is a very important thing that I've realised in life. Like, the only person I have control over is myself. And I can't control anyone else, nor should I want to. It's like everybody's here to work out their own life story. So for me, I can work out my life story, but I can't make yours. I can't make Dad's. I can't make, you know, even my children. Like, they might be, you know, I've got a range of children, don't I, Mum?
Yeah.
I've got a 23-year-old, an 18-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So they're kind of spanning the ages.
Yeah.
But even the 4 and 11-year-old, I don't have control over them. I do look after them the best I can. I feed them, clothe them, do stuff with them, but still they're their own little beautiful being, you know, who are directing their lives.
It's How can you have a 23-year-old son when you're only 23 yourself?
Yeah, that's a comment. Yeah.
You are so kind.
Yeah,
So kind.
yeah.
Well, you
I'm not 23.
You only, you only look
I'm not 23.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for that example of what you were saying, that story, it's a shame. Like, and I'd imagine, you know, that would have been horrible for her
Yes.
and her children, but also for him, for the dad, for her ex-partner,
Yes.
to be that way, because that's not being happy if you feel you have to control everybody.
Yes, because but he was cruel to the mum, and he was cruel to the kids, and they didn't want to be with him, and he made them stay with him for at least maybe from our primary school right to high school.
Really, that long?
Yeah, but he would refuse any time with the real mother.
Could he do that? Or
Well, she was too frightened to mention anything because
Wow.
if she said something, he'd hit her. You know, so it's good that she's got out of that.
yes, yeah.
And it's because he was caught by the police and they testified against him. Then he can't sort of go and do anything bad to him.
But that, you know, and that's scary because that's not an isolated experience in our society, is it? There's quite a lot of relationships that are like that, and which is horrible for all people involved. And I'd say, especially the children, you know, who kind of come into this world and they're just kind of, you know, they begin to accept, though, what happens to them, which is horrible, because sometimes what happens with children is the worst kind of life to have at all.
It's not giving them a good life. They're lucky that they had the mother they had that managed to fix it, that she could keep them and take care of them, and not have this person being cruel to anybody anymore. And whenever I've passed by that cafe where he worked, he looks a bit scared. I remember seeing him, and then he was almost trying to get me to come and give him you know, like, get me out of this. No, I just ignored it. That's when I didn't see him. Because it wasn't that fair. I didn't realise that he was the same one that used to come and take the kids away from her, and then telling her that she was, you know, nasty things about her.
Wow.
And yet she was a very quiet, friendly person, but she did get a bit too depressed. And I can remember saying to her, "Don't give up. You know, you won't live forever." And it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was good. And she was coming back to me in Big W, and it frightened the life out of me because I didn't. My memory is somewhere else. But it was lovely to know that she was okay, and also the kids.
Yeah. What a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they did do anything towards the kids and her, then they'd be in trouble. He would be in trouble. Because she has every right to say, look, this is happening or that's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, we do need to know, you know, don't get, like, say, for example, if there's someone here watching who's in this scenario, and there could well be, that even if you're afraid, do not be pulled into the fear, but know that you have the right to say something, to ask for help from people. You are deserving and worthy. And, you know, if there's children involved, you know, your children need you.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always help and there's always hope
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's, you know, that's quite an important thing to bring up, Mum,
It is. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, and we all too, we've got to remember that we are community, and, you know, doing little things like this where we talk about things and share things, it can make the difference, because if there is someone who just needs to hear something like, you mean I am worthy, and
Yes.
I can stand up for myself
Yes.
and my children, or,
Yeah.
you know, and people will help me, because people will. There's so many good people in the world. There's actually more good people than bad people.
Yes.
Like, way more good people.
Yes.
So you got to know that if ever you need help, you can get help.
Yes.
You're a good person.
Thank you.
And you're an amazing mum. I was going to say you were an amazing mum. You are an amazing
Yeah.
mum. Like, as we were growing up, because you were there for us too when we were
Yes.
little. You were at home. You know, we never were in childcare.
No.
You know, we never were on our own, really.
Yeah.
I know when we're a bit older and you were working, but, you know, we were older, like,
Yeah.
but we're still never really on our own, ever.
Yeah.
And I think on the odd time that you and Dad might have gone out, well, we had babysitter, maybe, not very often though, because we mostly did family stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, because quite often Nan and Grandpa would come and babysit while Dad and I went to celebrate an anniversary or a birthday.
Mm. But that, it wasn't very often, was it?
No, Dad, maybe go out for an evening about five times in a year or something.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe once a year, I don't know. A
Yeah.
handful of times a year.
Yeah.
But I think when you have a young family, it's kind of like that's the time to just be in your little family
Yes.
sort of zone,
Yeah.
family cocoon, and
Yeah.
you know, especially when the kids are young. Like, I've never left the kids really. It's only been with family. Like,
Yes.
you know, you helped me a lot when I was going to uni,
Yeah.
like looking after the boys.
Yeah.
But I've never left them with any, not even hardly with friends. It's always been family.
Yeah.
Never kind of done the childcare.
Yeah.
I'd have to really, really trust someone.
Yeah.
But you know, with family, you know, they've got the same love for your child
Yeah.
as well, especially grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are now an hour and a half. So I don't know. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we call it a
I
day?
think I'll be very pleased to have you as a daughter, and I'm also very pleased to have you smile and be nice and do everything as you should.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mum.
Yeah.
Love you. Shall we have a camera hug?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love you.
Love you too.
I agree
love
with
you.
that.
Yeah.
And Dad's applauding us.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
save
you.
a hug for you too. And we love you too, don't we? We love everyone
do.
on the other side of this camera. Thank you for being with us today. Well, we had our chat that just kind of flowed from one thing to the next.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And Mum, would you come back on another time?
Yes, that's
for another
time.
chat.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
You know what might be fun is if I have you both on together. How do you
Yeah.
think that would work, Mum and Dad? Although
Yeah.
you've kind of crossed over on each one's
that'll be
talk.
good. That'll be good.
So
Right.
maybe next time I'll do a triple interview. Well, a double interview talk. It's not an interview. It's a talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just see how we go with that and see what comes up, because this is just talking about things in life, like, you know, we're trying to push the boundaries out of the norm and just talk about things that matter in
Yes.
life, like each other,
Yeah.
like love, like being, like the
Yeah.
simplicity of life, like the sun and the stars. And it's a full moon this weekend.
Is it? All right.
I think it's Saturday. Yeah.
That's right. We'll have to watch it.
All the werewolves
Hope
come
there's
out.
not clouds.
Well, sometimes a bit of clouds around the moon, as long as, you know, it kind of frames it, and then you get this lovely glow.
Halo.
Yeah, I love the moon halo.
Yeah.
I've seen some amazing ones of those. And, you know, this wind's picked up a bit, though, hasn't it? But you don't need to hear about that right now. So we are going to go. We're going to go have some lunch now.
Sounds like a good idea.
Because when we have these chats, it's either a lunch or dinner deal. So when people come on, normally it'll either be a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and then lunch or dinner after. So we're going to go now and make some pizza and have some salad.
You've got a rolling pin?
I have got a rolling pin, yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to go head off now and do that. But thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mum.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I will be back another day with another person, and we will just be talking about stuff that matters, like nothing else matters. Thank you so much.